Hey guys, it's Greg, and today we are going to be talking about Marvel Legendary. We are going to be doing an unboxing, we're going to be talking about how you play, and we're going to be talking about pretty much just how awesome it is. This is a game that I got from my buddy Tom, who sent me that amazing, just giant box of awesome that was in a previous video. Go check it out. And also, go check out his game too if you haven't already. Quest for the Antidote is a lot of fun, and I wouldn't be recommending this if I didn't really believe that. I have a lot of fun playing it. So definitely go check it out. Check out the video that I did on Quest for the Antidote too. Just, see if it's the right thing for you, and I'm pretty sure you'll find that it's pretty great too. But anyways, this game is something that checks off all the boxes for me. It's a deck building game. It's kind of like Dominion. In fact, if you know how to play Dominion, you know 90% of this game. And you're going to find out pretty quickly how similar it is once we get in and check it out. I don't know how it is that I went this long without owning a copy of my own, but thank you, Tom, again, because I am very excited to get in and check this out. So without further ado, okay, so first things first, I'll go ahead and open it up. I have taken off the shrink wrap, but I have not taken this off yet. Oh, that's satisfying. That's very satisfying. In here, you get the rule book. Gonna need to know how to play it, I'm sure. We have the game board. So it is a card game, but it does come with a game board. And you'll see why, and it's actually very helpful to have this. A lot of, say, collectible card games or what have you, they pretty much just trust you to know where to place things, but this has everything, this has everything laid out very clearly. You have your scheme, mastermind, shield, agents, so Maria Hill is there, escaped villains, different areas of the city, your headquarters. Over here we have the villain deck and the hero deck. We have wounds and bystanders is also up here. There's a handy dandy reminder of your turn order, and in the upper left hand corner there is a handy dandy setup review for you, so you don't necessarily have to have the rule book on hand at all times. You're going to want to, but it's not as much of a necessity, particularly once you learn the rules. So the premise behind this game, loosely, is that you are basically running the Avengers, and you are trying to make a team to go and stop the Mastermind. There are a number of masterminds in here, which are going to be the big bad the big bad villains. Like we have Loki, we have Magneto. I believe that Dr. Doom is part of this set. I believe that I'm not sure. Sabretooth, maybe? There are also a vast number of expansions for this game, and I definitely would recommend, if you are interested in this game, check some of those out as well, because this one it's a couple heroes, but there's so much more that you can get into. Like if you liked the X-Men, for example, that's one that's come out and seems pretty good for expansions. That's all centered around the X-Men. It's got all the X-Men's villains. It's got all of the X-Men, and allows you to kind of play their abilities and such. This one is really more focused on a handful of heroes such as Hulk, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Captain America, Wolverine. There's also a few others such as, I believe that Elektra is in this one. I could be mistaken in that. I believe that Black Widow is in this one. I mean, we're going to get in and we're going to explore this a little bit more, but these are all just kind of, some things to keep in mind as we go along. But anyways, we're going to play, and we're going to try to defeat the Mastermind, defeat his evil schemes. So actually, first pack here, there's some Black Widow action for you. And you would say, okay, that all sounds good, but what are you talking about? Well, again, this is a deck building game. So what you're going to do is you're going to start off with a certain number of cards, which you're going to be able to use to acquire more cards. They're going to give you abilities, they're going to give you money to use, and so forth. Unlike in a traditional board game, you're not going to discard all of the resources that you're using. They're going to stay in your deck unless something specifically tells you that you're not able to do, or that you have to get rid of it. And basically you're just going to want to amass resources, which can then turn into buying the hero cards, which will give you abilities, and then you're going to use those abilities to take down the villains who are going to be showing up in the city, and eventually, once your deck is strong enough, you're going to defeat the mastermind and overthrow their scheme. That's the quick and dirty, but let's look a little bit more into all of this. So I probably shouldn't start by showing this, but it was the top card on here. This is one of the hero cards that you're able to use, and you're able to see a number of things to do with this. First and foremost, it's going to cost 7 money in order to buy it, and we'll get into what the money is all about as we get to those cards. It's worth 4 attack power when you play this card from your deck. It doesn't cost you anything to play from your deck, but you do need to have enough actions to do that. And let's just read the text a little bit. It says, defeat a villain or mastermind that has a bystander. That is extremely powerful. So the bystanders in this game are basically citizens who are getting caught up in the fracas, and they're exactly that. They're bystanders. They're not taking part, but they can get captured and so forth. Now, the reason why I say that that's extremely powerful is that for most situations, if a villain has a bystander with them, and those are specific cards, mind you, if a villain has a bystander with them, they get a bonus. They get a bonus to their attack power, to their stamina, whatever you want to call it. And that basically means that they are able to... Oh, there's a lot of heroes in here. There's a lot of heroes in here. Basically, they're able to take more of a beating. They're able to give your heroes more of a beating and so forth. And basically, you want to make sure that the villains don't get away with the bystanders. Now, the mastermind is going to be a super powerful villain. On top of everything else, they're going to have their own special abilities, you know, weaknesses, strengths, that sort of thing. And if you have this Black Widow and you play it, holy goodness, you can take out the mastermind like that. Usually that's something that you're not able to do until the end of the game because you need to build up your resources. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to, I guess we'll just focus on Black Widow right now. So, you know, there are a number of different cards here. Each of them are going to have different abilities, you know, different costs and so forth. These ones are ultra powerful, that's why they are so expensive. To start, you're usually going to get something more like this one, which is Mission Accomplished Black Widow. It costs 2 money to buy the card, which is to say, add it to your deck. And when you play this, you get to draw a card, and if you have this symbol played on another card, and we'll talk about that in just a moment, if you have that symbol already played on your turn, you get to rescue a bystander. If there's a bystander attached to a villain, you get to take them away from that. And that is again, a fairly powerful move in and of itself. Now, what are we talking about with that symbol? Well, if you look up here in the corner, we can see that she is from the Avengers, and she has this symbol over here. I apologize, I'm not sure what the actual name is for that. I'll see if I can add it in at the bottom of the screen in editing. Allow for editing. Okay, so that basically each time you play a hero card, you're going to have certain abilities with them and certain traits associated with, you know, like, for example, this Black Widow has a different symbol down here. So if you play over the course of your turn another card that has that symbol down there, and you have an ability, certain cards have certain abilities that only activate if you have already played that symbol. So that's what we're talking about there. Now, let's see if we can find some other some other things here. Now, this is something that I'm definitely going to have to fix via editing. This right here is a shield agent, and it's a hero. It costs 0, but it gives you 1 star. Now, I believe that in this game, the star is your currency. So when you play this card from your hand, you get 1 buying power, and that relates to the purchase cost down here. So you would need to have a whole lot of these in order to buy that ultra powerful Black Widow. And there are other cards in here that also give you attack power. So here is the Shield Trooper. So it costs nothing to add it to your deck, and when you play it, you get 1 attack power. And you use the attack power, you have the summation of the attack power for the cards that you've played during your turn, and that's what you're able to use and contribute toward defeating your enemies. So I'll go ahead and just put out. Now this is not a realistic situation. I'm just kind of doing this for illustration purposes. Down here is your headquarters. You buy cards from your headquarters, or you can buy them from the shield pile, or you can. Now this is. I could be mistaken. I believe that you are always able to buy the shield cards. I believe that you're always able to buy the shield agents and the shield troopers, these guys. Because they're so cheap, I believe that they're always available until those cards run out. Maria Hill is going to be a more powerful version of the shield agent, and I'm going to see if I can find some of those right now. Oh, next pack is Villain, that's Loki. Some more Black Widow cards. Some more Black Widow cards. And some more Black Widow cards. So that's not really going to help me just yet. But, ooh, this is nice. They have handy-dandy dividers in here so you can organize your cards and keep them separate. And that's going to come in big because you're not going to just run into this game with all of the same heroes. There's going to be some randomization that's going to be going on, and that's what keeps it so that you're rarely going to play the same game twice. And that's one of the beautiful things about this and other deck building games is you know, I mean, if you play a traditional trading card game or something like that, you buy all the cards separately or in packs, and you add to your collection, and then you draw from those to build a deck, which is going to be static, and is going to sit there for your game, and basically, what I'm trying to say is, this, you're not going to come in with a pre-prepared deck. You're going to build it as you go along, which again is, to me, is one of those great things, and it provides a lot of ability for strategy. Like, say I really want to buy stuff, or say I really want to be very powerful. You know, that is going to determine what cards I'm going to be buying. And you do randomize, and this is very awesome for that. Look at how many dividers there are. This is a ton. I mean, these are thin, these are cardstock, and womp. Huge stack of those to keep everything separate, which I will say thank you, Upper Deck. I will say thank you to Devin Lowe, the original game design, the designer for this game, because that is something that is huge. I can tell you that my buddy Tom has a ton of the expansions for this, and he has, you know, he's struggled with organization for keeping everything keeping everything separate and being able to find things, because again, the more expansions you get, the more scenarios you have, the more heroes you have, the more villains, and all of these things can kind of run together. And so I'm just going to see if I can find, get past these heroes. We got some more shield agents, some more, there we go, there's a Maria Hill. As I was mentioning to you previously, Maria Hill, this card is mostly always going to be available. There's going to be a stack specifically for her right over here. Costs 3 and is worth 2 buying power when you do it. And again, this is advantageous because it's one card. Your hand is going to be static unless you have something that allows you to draw additional cards. Again, this is very similar to Dominion if you've ever played that, or really, I assume it's going to be much like most deck building games in that regard. And basically, the long and the short of it is if you can do with one card what you could have previously done with two cards, you know, instead of two shield agents, you get one Maria Hill, that's advantageous. You can buy more because you have a set hand limit. Okay, so now I'll show you a couple of these enemies. So there are going to be henchmen, they're going to be, you know, more powerful enemies, and they're going to relate mostly to the mastermind. So there's going to be a theme. So if Loki is the mastermind, he might have Hydra soldiers, kind of like this. He might have factions of the Frost Giants. I'm sorry, I'm not sure if that is actually in this game, but that is a possibility. So you have your deck, and what you're going to be facing are your villain cards. Each turn, you're going to have to bring out a new villain. And if your team and the people that you're playing with are not able to defeat that villain, and we have to bring out another one, they just move along, and they move along through the city, causing mayhem, until after they get pushed off all the way down here on the bridge. So there's the sewer. I'm going to lift this up again just to... It's silly for me to be talking about all this without really showing you better what's going on here. Okay, so once again, this is the headquarters. This is where you're going to be building the selection of cards that you're going to be buying from on your turn. And then there's the city up there where most of the action takes place. So villains can be in the sewers, they can be in the bank, the rooftops, streets, or bridge. Now, certain villains, be they henchmen or otherwise, they might have certain boosts to their abilities, or certain things might get triggered if they're in those in the various areas of the city. And if they get pushed off, if they're in the bridge and they get pushed off because another villain needs to come in, which basically means that you guys have not been clearing out the villains like you're supposed to, which can be strategic. Basically, they go and they escape. So if they have a bystander, that's not a good thing. We don't want them to run off with a bystander. It might actually help the mastermind. Mastermind over here. So anyways, your cards that you're buying down here in the headquarters, and then the guys that you are fighting, the enemies you're fighting, might be up here in the city. Now, maybe I defeated someone in the bank, but I had someone also in the rooftops. So that can happen too. But they don't get pushed along until this one goes over here, and someone else comes here, and so forth. Again, what you really want to focus on, prevent them from escaping unless there's some strategic purpose to you doing that. What else? You know, I'm probably not doing the world's best job at showing you guys all about this. I would highly recommend, there are a ton of great videos out there which go over in better detail how to play the game. I mean, heck, buy it yourself. Get in and play it, because this is really a great game. So before we decide that we're done with our game, or we're done with opening up and showing, I think that it would be a very good idea to talk about the masterminds more. So the masterminds are kind of, I mean, they're the silent threat, I guess. This is what you and your compatriots are trying to defeat. Now, which I probably didn't say it yet, but Marvel Legendary is a co-op game. It does, if you wish, you can keep score, and you can have an eventual winner amongst your heroes if you do defeat the mastermind's schemes. But you know, I've always played it that it's not about the individual scores. It's really just about taking down the mastermind and foiling their schemes. So actually, there is Dr. Doom right there. But let's focus on Loki a little bit. When you go in and you play this game, you're going to define which mastermind you're going to be going with. Again, this is Loki. Check that out. And it really bears mention that the artwork in this game is outstanding. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that this is all original for the game. I don't think that this is coming from actual issues of the comics themselves, but it is possible. So let's see. We have this version of Loki, Mastermind, and it says, always leader, enemies of Asgard. So when you are fighting against Loki, you are going to be playing the enemy, or you're going to be fighting the enemies of Asgard. There's also something here called a Master Strike. As you're going through your deck of villain cards, and that's going to be comprised of the various villains that you're facing, the henchmen and so forth, you might draw a Master Strike, and that's going to trigger some bad stuff. So as it says here, each player reveals and it's a fist, it's a Hulk fist card, you know, this little green icon down here, and the hero gains a wound. Oh, excuse me. Reveals a card with that symbol on it, a hero with that on there, or they gained a wound. And wounds are kind of awful in a number of ways. Among others, they clog your deck. They're not awesome because that's a card you can't use to buy anything, to gain abilities or anything. They basically are just awful, and they you know, you don't want them. You don't want them in your life. So you need to have 10 attack to defeat this version of Loki. There's other versions of Loki as well. Again, 10 to defeat, and the fight, which is an ability that when you engage them in a battle, there's this fight ability. It says, defeat a villain in the city for free. So, basically, if you defeat this Loki, or you face this Loki, you get to defeat someone down here for free, which, that's an interesting one. It's an interesting one, but it fits with Loki. You know, this is the cruel ruler version of Loki. So I'm not sure what his schemes are, or what the various schemes potentially are, but maybe that is something that's actually advantageous for him. And there are a number of different versions. This is the Maniacal Tyrant, Vanishing Illusions, Whispers and Lies. They're very thematic to the villain. And each time that you fight them, there might be something that will really negatively impact your team, and so forth. But defeating the Mastermind is always a good thing. In fact, you need to defeat the Mastermind in order to win the game. This is a game where you can lose, and you probably will lose quite a bit, particularly as you're starting to learn the ins and outs. You're playing against the game as opposed to playing against each other, and you know, it can take a little bit of time to get going, to get everything up to speed and so forth. So I think that pretty much is going to cover the game. I'm not going to talk about the schemes very much. Those are going to be things that I think it will be better if we leave them for you guys to get in and play and learn about as you go. The schemes are going to be the scenarios and the certain parameters that you're going to be facing as you go. So that's another one of those things that's randomized, and which will allow you to, again, rarely play the same game more than once. So again, Marvel Legendary, and I believe that there might even be a few other versions of this. I believe that there might be an Alien versus Predator version of Legendary. There might be a DC villain, Heroes and Villains version. Really, really great game. Again, if you have played, I keep referencing Dominion because Dominion was one of the games that really pulled me into, you know, non-like Candyland, non-Chutes and Ladders, really more grown-up strategic style board games. Absolutely love this game. I've played it a number of times. I've lost it a fair number of times. Again, playing with when I've been lucky enough to find friends who have had it and have been willing to play with me. Now I own this, and that is really awesome for me because this game is for 1 to 5 players, and that means that I'm going to be able to play even if I don't have anyone to play with. So, definitely I would recommend checking this out. Go online, buy the game, go through this rule book, which is full of a lot of great information, great illustrations. There is a lot, high quality. I mean, it goes over everything better than I was able to do in such a short video. Or not, the time doesn't matter so much as the fact that I was doing it kind of as I was going along. So, Marvel Legendary, check it out. Hey guys, thank you for watching. I hope that you've enjoyed this look at Marvel Legendary. I hope that if you haven't played it in a while, I hope that this inspires you to go play it again. If you don't have it, I hope that you will give this another look and see if it really is the right game for you. I love it. Again, I think that it's a really great game. There's so much possibility to it that I cannot help but recommend it. So again, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I hope that you like unboxings because I kind of have the unboxing itch going right now, and I'd like to do some more. So I can say that the next 2 that I'm kind of playing with, in terms of what ones I should do unboxings of, there is the Lord of the Rings living card game I'd love to explore. I'm going to just show you right here my collection. Yeah, I know. It's a little bit ridiculous to have all this, but I love it, and I just can't say no sometimes. So there's that, and then there's also the old trading card game, the old Marvel game called Overpower, which is another one that was one of the games that primarily got me into gaming back in junior high, and I love that, and I want to take a trip down nostalgia road and do some look at that game as well. So let me know in the comments or via snail mail. I haven't made my address public yet, but I think I'm gonna do a PO box that everyone can send some letters to if they are so inclined. If they have something that they would love to see me unbox, go ahead and send it to me. I will do a video on that, and I will just absolutely have a field day with that. But that will come later. So yeah, let me know what you'd like to see. Would you like to see Lord of the Rings, the living card game? Would you like to see Overpower? Or would you like to see something else? I'd love to hear from you, and I will see you guys soon.